I believe that I have a pretty interesting encounter for you today. Basically, a rift space has appeared in one of our systems, and it just so happens that a fleet decides to run it. Now, the rift space normally can give you some very good loot. It can drop B types. I've heard it can also drop A types. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about X types, but that might also be a possibility. Overall, running the rift space anomalies can be very profitable, and they can be small, medium, and big. Basically, the small one for frigates, medium one for cruisers, battlecruisers, and the large one for battleships. The rift space that has appeared was a large one, and well, of course, as expected, there was a small fleet attempting to run it. Now, the rift space is different from the NDS space, since you have only one entry and one exit. Basically, you have to return through the same way you came in, and that makes them kind of, I would say, dangerous in a way, since it's very easy to get trapped inside. If a fleet smells that you are running a rift, they will definitely assemble some ships to go down and to try and kill you. Now, for this encounter, I use my Macarial, which I usually don't do, mostly because this Macarial, well, I've had this ship for a while, and I'm thinking about replacing it, and I'm thinking about basically having a second Macari that will replace this one, so that if anything bad happens, the original old Macarial stays alive. So that's one of the things that I wanna do. Now, the other thing that I plan to do, I used to have tier 4 rigs on this ship. I used to have tier 4 burst radiators, and I used to have tier 4 warp core optimizers. It was one of my only tier 4 rigged ships that I had. Now, I had a little issue with the rigs, as it happened. The rigs one day just vanished. I did get them back, but they just vanished at one day, and so that would be a very big loss, because these rigs were really expensive back then. I mean, looking at the rigs now, they're also, I think they're also quite expensive. So yeah, 1.4, 1.7 billion is one tier 4 rig. Basically, this costs as much as a ship. But I think I will buy tier 4 rigs for the Macarial, and besides combat rigs, the engineering rigs also seem to be quite interesting. Now, I have no idea which ones I think I'll just go with the cheapest ones, although yeah, that's expensive. Higgs Anchor definitely going to be very useful. Who buys this? I mean, is anyone buying a tier 4 Higgs Anchor rig? I don't think that's happening, but I might be wrong, of course. I'm not really familiar with that. And what is this? Yeah, hyperspatial. I thought about this rig. It is 1 billion, but it does increase the speed. It would make the Macarial quite a speedy boat, which is something that I want to do. So I still have to decide on the engineering rigs. As for the weapons, now I thought about getting 8 types for the Macarial. I remember when I tested out the Macarial on the test server, this thing used to have, I think I managed to get like 5,000, 5.6 or 6,000 cold DPS with A types. So I kind of want to have a A-type Macarial, but I think the supply of A-type modules of A-type autocans is going to be a little low. I can definitely easily just B-type it, but the difference between C-type and B-type shouldn't be that big. I mean, 201 damage, and this one does 211, like 10 more damage, just a little bit more DPS. A-types do about, yeah, 20 more damage. X-types will definitely have the biggest impact, but yeah, I can technically buy like one X-type now. So I mean, I could trade my items, but I think I'll just somehow make 8 of A-type large rockets and might be equipped on this ship. I kind of want to have a full A-type Macariel because I really like this ship. I really love this ship. I've been using it for a while, and I think he does deserve to have something like that. I also can do the gyro stabilizers to be. I mean, yeah, they're also quite expensive, like 15 billion. Yeah, this is quite a pricey module. But yeah, I think in a minute I'll be rolling the Rift encounter. Now, besides that, before I do that, I wanna just show the nanocore here. So, since someone asked me, is my nanocore on the Macariel leveled up? No, but I did kind of attempt to level it up, and yeah, I don't know how lucky I'll be with the upgrades. I mean, I can definitely get some extra damage with leveling it up, but I don't know. This is basically my first nanocore that I've ever bought from the Concord Pass, and should I level it up? Is it actually worth? Any of you guys who is more familiar with nanocores, is this nanocore? Let me show the name. Is Dark Halo core even worth upgrading? I mean, I could upgrade, but at the same time, I can also buy a different one that might be better for the Macariel. Since I mean, the stats are okay, but I have no idea if there is a better nanocore available at the moment that I can buy for this ship. So if any of you know the nanocore stuff, then please do tell me in the comments, since I'm very curious to know if there is any other nanocore that I can use to level it up, since I know that there is a lot of nanocores in the game, and I'm familiar with some of them, but for the vast majority of nanocores I just use the primary attribute, so in some cases I might not be aware of all of the, well, not exactly the nanocore tier, but you know, I think that some of them can technically perform better than others. But in any case, let me show that Rift encounter. Alright, we are all gathered nicely around the gate. Kind of feel like when you gather around the campfire. That's basically what this little moment feels like. But we are waiting for 2 more ships to arrive, since our opponents are a Balgorn and a Nightmare, both of which are already inside of the Rift Space. Now, this Rift Space has 3 rooms, and not a lot of time has passed since they jumped in, so right now we assume that they are still in the first room. And I mean, we could technically just jump in immediately, and we could risk letting them escape, since they can't be positioned in such a way that they can instantly just jump out from the rift. And if that happens, well, we would miss the targets. So in order to prevent that, we are going to get a lot, well, I say a lot more ships, maybe 2 or at best 3 more ships. That will be there is 1 ship warping in. Okay, basically we will have some ships wait one jump behind, so that they can tackle them in case they are around the gate. But if they go deeper inside, well, then I believe catching them will be much easier, since the Rift Space, as mentioned in the start of the video, has only 1 entry and 1 exit. They have to come back this way if they want to get out of the anomaly. They can technically wait inside until the Rift Space collapses, and then that would throw their ships at the warp point, which would be the gate. We actually did that once a long time ago, when we were trapped inside of a... Now, I'm not really sure if that was a Rift Space. I think it was a Rift Space, but at the same time I think it was a... Yeah, I think it was a Rift Space for sure. I'm fairly sure it was a Rift Space. Although it was a long time ago, so I might be wrong on this, but we were like 4 ships versus 20 of them, and we did steal that anomaly from a small fleet. We wiped them out, and then we decided to run it. Well, they came back with a big fleet, and that was I would say, the most clutch moment that I've ever had in this game. 4 of us, actually 3 of us, since one of my friends was using an alt to scout, versus 20 of them. And we ended up surviving that because they did not jump in. They were waiting for us at the exit, but the whole site collapsed and it basically sent us at the station. It was hilarious. That was the best escape that we've ever had. Honestly, that was fun. That was pure fun. If PvE, if I ever had fun with PvE, it was that moment. That was a combination of PvP and PvE, but that was a fantastic run. The loot wasn't that good, but man, that was a clutch moment. All it took, one wrong move, is all it took for us to get wiped out. But we didn't get wiped out. We played really well, and we survived. The most important part is that we survived. Now, right now in this moment, we are developing tactics. We are having a nice little chat in the fleet chat here, and we're trying to come up with solutions to potential problems that we could encounter. And this is already something that I talked about. So we basically will have one ship be a little bit behind, so that they can point ships that try to escape. Always nice to have a backup plan like that, since ships that can run these anomalies, these sites, are usually very well equipped, and that means potentially very good drops. Although a Balgorn can be a problem, I'm a armor tank, so the lasers should not do much damage to me. My friends here are, I think, mostly shield tanks, which is fine. I haven't really changed my build on the MachAttack for a while. I really need to have more ships, basically. Need to have more ships for different situations, since I use the MachAttack for a lot of different, let's say a lot of different moments. Although I really should have a ship for every possible scenario, since you can't really cover everything with one ship. That is kind of impossible. You can cover a lot of different things with one ship, but you can't cover everything. And the MachAttack is good, but it has its drawbacks. The main drawback being that it is not that tanky. It can take damage, it has a very nice damage total, but it is not built to tank all day long. It is a hit and run ship, and admittedly, in this situation, my MachAttack isn't really the best ship that I could have used. I could have used the Megatron Striker. I usually do use the Megatron Striker for this situation, but the problem with that ship was the fact that my build is a bit scattered all over the place because of the new anomalies, and it would really take a long time for me to assemble the Megatron Striker for PvP. So I just decided to take the closest ship that I have to the Megatron Striker that can still do the job just fine, and it ended up the MachAttack basically just ended up being the, well, not the only, but I would say the best suitable ship for the current situation. And just because of that, I decided to stick with this ship. Alright, well, I think we're about to go in. Well, I guess time to strap myself in, because I don't really know what to expect inside. Now, the good thing is, when you're entering a rift space, you can't really be surprised by a different fleet composition, since there is no other entry point. You can basically follow the ships, go in, and see who is inside. Now, we entered the first room, and our time projection was right, I would say. They have cleared the first room. They are now in the second room. Oh, these two guys are about to have a very bad day. They have no idea that we are coming for them. Now the space doesn't have local active, so you can't really see who is inside, so local is going to be useless, although the rift space is also quite small. The rooms are quite small, so you can't really miss anyone inside, except if they are cloaked. Now, we know for a fact that they have no eyes, they're only like 2 battleships. So, yeah, they don't know that we are coming for them. Okay, approaching the gates, and now we have 2 options at this moment. We can basically go in and eat, or we can play it a bit more tactically and wait for them to jump through. Since if they're hugging the gates and if we jump, you will spawn 12 kilometers from the gate. The mechanics are the same. You can jump if you're scrambled, and when you jump you will land about 12 kilometers. You'll be spawning 12 kilometers from the gate. So if they're hugging the gate, they can technically escape to the first room, and then they just need to burn to the exit. But we have 1 interceptor at the entry, and I think we'll have 1 ship over here. So we have every exit covered. Of course, we can also send 1 bait ship and get tackle, and then we go in and kill them while they have the aggression timer, since they can jump through the gate if they have the aggression timer. So that's also one of the possibilities that we can do. Now my friends are in Vindicators. There's also Nightmare, and we have a Logi. I'm the only Macarial here. I might buy a Vindicator because I kind of like the ship. I have already good skills for it. I have maxed out railgun skills now, I believe. So might buy a Vindicator, and a good chance that I will use it in the same way as the Macarial. Although the Vindicator can be tanky, but it has some very good DPS, very attractive DPS, so I think I might just go and do a DPS build. One of the builds that I showed you before, I mean the classic PvP build that I run on these ships nowadays. Even have a good implant, basically a shotgun implant, but still a very good implant, so I'm not really going to suffer from lack of DPS. Depending on how the balance patch goes this month, if it happens this month, it will really decide on what implant I will get next. Very tough choice. I mean, I have decent amount of ISK, but I'm being very careful not to just waste all that ISK on a implant that gets nerfed. I want to basically, you know, get the most worth out of my ISK as possible. Alright, seems like we are going to go with the bait aggro tactic. Sounds good to me. Although this time, if they are close to the gate and if they jump through, then we are going to be having a very nice surprise to them here. It's going to be a lovely picture. I mean, the rift space is beautiful. I love it. It's a very well designed space. A bit hard on my tablets, a bit of lag here and there, my apologies for that. Big resolution on this display is having an impact on the performance. And the moment of truth, are they going to be... Well, yes, it is eating time. It is eating time. Jumping in, they are not close to the gates. They have the aggression timer, and now the main fleet is going in. I'm very curious to know if they actually expected company. I don't think that they did. I don't think they did. this is why the rift space is quite dangerous. Okay, let's go. Balgor needs to die first, and then the nightmare. Focusing fire on the Balgorn. Oh, that's a big bubble. Now, not really sure whose bubble this is. Is it friendly bubble or is it enemy bubble? I have no idea. In any case, oh, I'm actually hitting my own friendly nightmare. Uh-oh. Let's take range. Why did you turn on the bubble? Should have kept that thing off. I was doing some good damage to the Balgorn. Oh no. Well, let's try to hit the enemy Balgorn. Yeah, I just noticed well, it's kind of okay. Now I'm doing damage to the hostile Balgorn. Okay, to the hostile nightmare. Okay, my friend turned off the shield field bubble. My shield is also getting yeeted, but that's fine. I'm an armor tank. There we go. Nightmare destroyed. That was good. Now it was I would say a little bit clumsy. I just realized that I was basically lighting up the friendly nightmare. They shouldn't have used the bubble. That Balgorn would have definitely died a lot sooner if the friendly bubble was off, since we were well within the shield field bubble of the hostile nightmare. That's why I was doing damage. I was doing some good damage to the Balgorn. Very happy with the damage done on the ship. I mean, kind of expected them to be a glass. They were definitely relying on the nightmare to be kept alive, which is a very usual tactic that you will see within PvE. I mean, that's basically what nightmare is for, to be a big guardian. After all, the nightmare is a guardian. Overall, that was nice. Nice little action. Always, I love to engage ships within the rift space anomalies, or even within the NDS space, because it is fun. Basically, if done properly, there is no escape. That's just how it goes. If done properly, there is no escape, and it's also fun. Let's take a look at the kills. Almost forgot. 5.2 billion ISK nightmare. Nice. Some good loot as well, not going to complain about that. And the Balgorn, 4.1 billion Balgorn, 4 pulse ladders, 3 beam ladders, and a full-on glass build. Well, that wasn't that bad. It was a pretty good catch. And now let's do some let's blow up some other ships with my other cruisers. I mean, that was a very nice little run with the fleet there. Definitely hoping for more action like that, since it's definitely fun. And we did end up completing that rift space. Unfortunately, it really didn't drop. This time it did not drop anything good. You know what's funny? Every time I do these anomalies, they never drop anything. Every time I don't do them, I see my friends get B types, A types, and stuff like that. That's just Murphy's Law for you. Anyway, next target is a thorax. And this thorax was here for a while. I actually thought it might be a bait. Well, seems like not. Lately, I feel like I have been a bit more paranoid than usual lately. No idea why. I haven't really been in any like I haven't had any reason to be paranoid at all. I mean, uh, I'm not being camped, I am not being hunted, and yet I somehow still feel paranoid for some reason. No idea why. No idea why, but it is what it is. So I think I actually know why why do I feel paranoid. I blame my internet. I blame my internet. My internet is making me paranoid since I'm always worried about losing internet mid-combat. Well then, a cloaky magnet. That's interesting. Now speaking, when I was thinking about battleships, I also figured out that I actually have a Hyperion that I haven't used. Now this Hyperion, I have no idea where I got it from. I think this Hyperion belongs to one of my friends, but I haven't used this ship in a very long time, and I actually do miss flying the Hyperion. Back in the day, I used a ridiculously chunky Hyperion that had quad armor repairs. I still have the same nanocore for it that I could technically level up, and I could technically create something very broken in terms of tank, but we will see. Maybe I will fly the Hyperion again. I don't know. I know I gave one of my Hyperions to one of my friends as a gift, and this Hyperion is the only one that's left in my station. It even has a green nanocore, which is interesting. I have a purple nanocore, so I might return to the Hyperion, but at the same time I might start flying a Navy, the Navy Raven or Megathor Navy. Should see the reaction of my friends when I said that I'll fly the Raven Navy. They were not happy because they like the Megathor Navy, they like Railguns, and that's fine. I love the Megathor Navy as well, but my friends were not happy about me getting a Raven Navy, that's for sure. And they felt a bit betrayed, and I can see why. But yeah, maybe I'll go with the Megathor Navy in the end, because that is kind of our, not really our doctrine, but that is generally the ship that we all fly, that we all have, or that we all fly and love. So yeah, that's basically what's been happening here. But I definitely do need new ships, that's for sure. I definitely need new boats, since I don't have all the necessary ships for the right moments. I even brought my Macariel back for this little camp. I haven't been camping in so long, this actually kind of felt a bit refreshing, although I still prefer the more active way of playing, but camps can be still quite fun if done properly. And still have to see what I'll do with the Revelation. That's also something that I just recalled. But in any case, that was a very nice little run. Lately I haven't had that much time for PvP, but I think I'll get more time this next week. Basically, if you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to gather as much ESC as possible, and my idea is to try and achieve about 10 to 15 billion per week in materials, in rigs, in items, you know, stuff like that. So my goal right now is to get as much ESC as possible, so that I can buy the implant that's necessary, and also will have to level up that implant. And besides the implant, I also need to have new ships, and that kind of made me go into overdrive with PvE and all the other things that I'm doing. So That's the reason why PvP has been a bit low in the last couple weeks. Mostly because I'm basically trying to get as much ESC as possible for to be prepared for this next update. But with that being said, this was still a very nice little run. Exciting moments in that rift space. I mean, hope that we do get more opportunities like that. That was very fun. In any case, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll definitely see if I can do a lot more PvP this upcoming week. But I mean, hopefully I do get lucky with the loot. If I do get lucky with the loot, it's going to be definitely much easier. But again, with that being said, hope you enjoyed. Stay safe, fly safe. As always, I'll see you next time.